Welcome, welcome to the Tabletalks number 9. And today I have another guest. This is Koen Windhorst. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we talk about nutrition. Nutrition is very important for myofascial energetic release, and I like to put it on my list as number 7 in the 7 elements of myofascial energetic release. Now there's also pain relief, and pain relief actually is one of the results of myofascial energetic release. Nutrition is really important for our bodies. We are what we eat. It's not really necessary because we are what we breathe, basically. But we need nutrition too to keep our cells and our fascia healthy. And nowadays we looked at it as with Ayurveda to see people as kind of energy levels, and when you keep them in balance, like water people, you want to give them more air and more fire, and you want to keep that water, fire, air balance in people, and that helps a lot. But it's not sufficient. You can be Ayurvedic, perfect living person, but you still need meat. I learned from this man. Because we had this mutual interest in myofascia. He is one of my students in myofascial energetic release training, and we had a discussion about our eyes and the lack of vitamin A we have, and it has nothing to do with fire, water, or air. So, but it has to do with nutrition, and vitamin A was our common interest because he was eating livers from chickens in this case, and chickens are able to distract vitamin A from eating food, store them mostly in their liver, and we eat the liver because we are able to get vitamin A from meat. We are not able to distract vitamin A, period, from vegetables. So that taught me something I already knew because I needed meat for my spirit and my energy level. I noticed that a couple of years ago, but so only vegetables are not enough for me. I get weak, I get pale, and I don't function well. My memory is getting fake, and I don't function well. So I started eating meat again. And then I met Koen, and Koen said, hey, vitamin A. Yeah, I eat it for my eyes because we lack vitamin A in general, in the whole world at this moment, because we eat poor food. We eat vegetables, and he says, no vegetables at all, basically.
Yeah, basically.
And, but anyway, I'll let him do the talking, because it's nice to understand another point of view on nutrition, which I describe as a myofascial energetic release therapist. We go into the motivation of Koen, why he did it, why it's so important to eat that way, and how to get our fascia healthy. So why did you start in the first place, Koen?
That's a nice question, and I can give a really long answer, but I'll try to keep it short. I was always into the human body because I work as a physical therapist mostly, and when you learn about the human body, you learn about what you put in it also. And I got sick 6 years ago, and I got melanoma, skin cancer, stage 3. And also, it was also in my lymph nodes, and I got surgery and I recovered. And in the wound, because I had a skin transplant and everything, and in the wound there came a bacteria in there, and then I had a blood poisoning straight after. And after that, my immune system was totally screwed. So before I was almost never sick, and afterwards I had like pneumonia, everything, all kinds of stuff for a year long, and then I just thought I have to do things differently because I was 32 years at the time. I thought I'm still young and I feel like an old man and everything makes me sick and there's something else happening.
Yeah.
And that's when I got into food. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know quite a lot about it.
Yeah, it's kind of it's more like a hobby, but I just yeah, I like to learn as much as I can about it because I also feel really good when I do it right.
Yeah. And then you had all this. How then you started to do this diet, right?
Yeah.
After this illness.
Yeah, well, it kind of evolved. First, I went to a natural or nature doctor, naturopath. He taught me in the beginning everything that has to do with the cancer that I had, and we talked about it already. But a tumor feeds itself with sugar, so you shouldn't eat sugar and too much carbs. It has to do with your immune system. If your immune system is busy all day with all kinds of chemicals and stuff from the food and the air and the water, then you can't, maybe your body doesn't recognize a bad cell that's multiplying because it's already busy with a lot of other things. So that's the basics that he told me, and afterwards I just kept reading and looking, and I still wasn't really happy about my energy. It was a lot better, but I didn't feel like I thought I was supposed to. I wasn't satisfied. Yeah. And then I read about a carnivore diet, and I do a kind of adapted form. It's called animal-based diet. So mostly I eat animal products, so the meat and the eggs and dairy, and I eat a little bit of fruit with it. And that's kind of everything I eat. And I read a book, and it's a doctor from America, Dr. Paul Saladino, and he kind of figured this diet out. And when I read a few pages, I was like, whoa, shit, this guy's telling the truth, and I felt it in my entire body, and then I just started. I think if I really want to know, I'm just gonna try, and then that's 2.5 years ago, and I've never felt better.
Good.
Yeah.
Why are you so convinced about this meat approach?
Because I like to keep it easy and simple as possible. And we as humans, if you go back thousands of years, we were hunters or hunter-gatherers, but that just meant you went hunting, and if you went hunting for 4 days without killing an animal, you got hungry, and then you picked some berries or something hanging from the trees. So it was always just animal foods and maybe a little fruit. And that's how we did it for... Yeah, and that was like how we did it for thousands of years, and how we became who we are now. And for me, it's really a strange idea if that's what we've been doing for thousands of years, and now they try to convince us we can survive on only plants.
Yeah, which brings us to vegans, because vegans are convinced also about the power of plants and not killing animals, because killing animals are produced and they are overproduced and we throw them away, and vegetables are more healthy, and because there's a lot of poison into the meat we produce these days, and on the antibiotics and stuff. So they have motivations to eat vegetables. But what is your opinion about vegetables?
Well, if you look at it in really, without getting into your mind about how you think it's really sad for the animals you have to kill, or about the environment, because all of that isn't true, if you ask me. There's nothing... Yeah, it's not true. There's nothing in plants that you can't get from meat, and there is and not the other way around. So you don't need the plants. And it's
the way we produce meat is disgusting, right?
Of course, I totally agree, and that's why I get everything I eat from the local farmer, and it's organic.
And that's the game changer, because that's appealing to me, and that's why I asked you also to come here, because I think you're right. I think we need to eat meat, but not the meat we produce, because the meat we produce is poisoned. Basically, and it doesn't do the thing that you are so convinced about.
No, so I think the quality is the most important for everything that you put inside your body. So you don't need all the extra antibiotics and chemicals and the bad stuff. So the quality is most important. But if you look at like vitamins, because you talked about vitamin K, a lot of people eat carrots because they say it's good for the eyes because it's got vitamin K. I'm sorry, vitamin A, but the vitamin A in the carrots, it's beta-carotene,
beta-carotene.
And the vitamin A in meat is retinol, and we can absorb a lot of retinol, and the beta-carotene you have to inside your body you have to make a retinol from it, and that's not effective at all.
No.
So you have to eat like this big heap of carrots to get the same vitamin A as if you would get from one chicken liver.
Yeah. So one chicken liver a week will do a lot better than eating a lot of pills containing vitamin E or retinol. And the retinol never is on the prescription of pills you can buy in the store, which is obvious the reason that it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to look into this because we don't know shit about food. Basically, I don't know shit about food. I eat my sandwich, I eat things I like, but I don't know what's in there and what's good for me. And what is interesting me is what is good for your myofascia, for your fluidity, for your well-being in general, but also for your myofascia, because we work with people like you start to learn now and you do sessions to help people to get better after session. We open structure in the myofascia, which are held by holding pattern or by belief or by pain or by emotional stuff that's stored in the body that holds certain place in your body so tight. And when you open them up, the toxic waste comes out, which we need to extract from our bodies by drinking water and extra vitamin C, so you have to pee. But also we like to bring in nutritions. And if you are not bringing in nutritions generally, then this will stay hollow and it will also go back and it will be crumpy and crushy and fibrotic again. So it's nice to know, and that's why I think it's really important to do, from a myofascial energetic release point of view, to do good food. But then you get into this food chain, which is interesting to look in, and that's really sick. Basically, that's what I found. And then I met you, talking about chicken liver.
That's how it started.
So how can we make the myofascia more healthy? What is your plan?
If you look at what it's made up of, so the building blocks of the fascia, I think that's important. Collagen, elastane, liquid,
and the liquid substance, we call the ground substance, which is water basically if you look through it.
And if you're going to look at what foods you can take that contains these things, then the collagen is mostly or only from animal products. And it's a building block of connective tissue, like of the fascia. So it's also in the connective tissues of the animals that you eat. And nowadays, when people do eat meat, they mostly eat just the steak, and they're afraid of the little fatty edges and every little tendon or the skin.
Where the collagen is.
So so when we do eat meat, we just skip all the parts that we think are scary or nasty, and we don't still don't get the collagen in. So
and elastine is basically you get it from fish, right?
Yeah, there's a lot in the skin of the fish. And you need the same vitamins to produce some elastine yourself, because collagen you can get from food quite easily if you get the right foods, but elastine is more difficult. There's only a little bit in the skin of the fish, but you can produce it yourself. But then you need some vitamins and minerals, and then you get to optimum food again.
Yeah, in my opinion, people who have joint issues and issues in the tendons, they lack elastine. They lack the elastic substance in their fascia.
And it's the same for bad knees, cartilage,
joints.
And everything is just built up of collagen and elastine. So that peaks in your body when you're 25 to 30 years old, and after that it just drops about 1% each year. And if you don't get it in through food or anything, or supplement is also possible, then it just drops down, and then it makes your skin wrinkly, makes your hair bad quality, and everything starts to get less and less. The tendons.
After you're 30, you should eat more meat. And fish.
Fish.
Connective
tissues.
It's difficult to eat good fish these days.
That's a shame because fish is really healthy, also for the fatty acids, the omega acids.
Yeah.
But
omega-3, right?
Yeah,
Because we get a lot of omega-6.
Yeah.
But he told me a story about the balance. It should be in balance.
Yeah, and that's a problem nowadays
Yeah.
because it has to be 1:1 or 1:3.
Yeah.
But it's 1:18 in most people. So 18 times as much omega-6 as omega-3.
Yeah.
And that makes you really sensitive for ontstekingjes.
Yeah.
For
It's
inflammation. For
yeah.
inflammation.
Or in Latin English.
And and all kinds of diseases and things that can be wrong with your body, they start with inflammation. Even burning from the sun, it's inflammation.
Inflammation is a healthy way of fighting fighting overworked areas or trying to repair.
Yeah.
But if the substance in your body is not right, then an omega-3, omega-6 balance is not right, then inflammation stays longer than it should stay.
Yeah.
And it is not repairing it. That doesn't have the building blocks to repair pain syndromes in inflamed areas.
Yeah, so that's really important.
For an MER practitioner to understand,
Yeah, and for everybody to try to achieve the right ratio. So, and because I've been eating like this for like 2.5 years. And what I just said, like burning from the sun, also has to do with the omega ratio.
Yeah.
And I tried it like last year, and I don't do sunscreen and everything, but that's a different subject.
Yeah.
And I just went outside on the hottest moment of the day, no sunscreen, nothing. I just don't burn anymore. My skin doesn't burn because
the Neanderthalers didn't have
no.
protection.
And when we found out about sunscreen, skin cancer rates got sky high.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff in there that you don't want.
But how do we get omega-3 up in our body and 6 down?
I think 6 down is even more important because if your ratio is like out of control and you supplement omega-3, which is mostly bad quality, so I don't know if that's a good idea, there's still too much omega-6. So getting more 3 is not enough, you need to ditch the 6s.
And how do we ditch the 6 then?
That's mostly in vegetable oils.
Okay.
Because they are heavily, how do you say, when you produce them you have to use chemicals, deodorize, everything. So they're, all the omega-3 is gone because that's a really fragile fatty acid and there's only omega-6 in there.
Left there.
Yeah, so if you eat a lot of vegetable oils you get a lot of omega-6 and everything that's in a package or the meals that are already
produced.
That everywhere are vegetable oils, so it's really rich in omega-6.
So sunflower oil is not healthy at all?
Not at all, no, it's terrible because it's during the process of creating it from the sunflower seeds there's an extreme heat and there's chemicals and there's all kinds of things, so it oxidizes and that makes it really bad for your body. And most people put it in their fryer and then you heat it up again and again and again and again, so it oxidizes like crazy and it's terrible for your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do it too, so I have to ditch that too.
Yeah.
I learned a lot here today. you give consultants too. Yeah. From now on, I publish a page on my website. It's called MER and Nutrition, and it's his story, and it's his link to his email, so you can consult him for to get your food healthy, to get your to help your body after MER session or in general. To get good food in your system and to get a good way of living. And it's not general eating meat, it's just tailor-made because maybe you already do a lot of good things. And Koen is really happy to help you further.
Yes, yeah.
I'd like to talk more about the other thing that you told me about. What you do is you boil bone.
Yeah, bone broth.
Bone broth. And
yeah.
also I'd like to talk to you about cholesterol.
Yeah.
Because that's also and salt. And then the rest we do another time.
Okay, we try to keep it
first
short.
the bone. Why do you boil Bones,
because
like grandmother did, with the little rings of fat on top.
yeah, she didn't do that for nothing. Yeah, so they're in the bone and the bone marrow. There's a lot of good fats and a lot of nutrients. It's one of the most nutritious things you can eat, and nobody does it. And when you put it anymore, yeah, grandmother did it. So when you put it in the water, I have a slow cooker at home, and I do some bone marrow, some leftover meat that's on the bone, the tendons are still in there. Sometimes I just get a whole knee from a cow and I put it in there. And when you boil it, or I slow cook it for 24 hours, you extract all the nutrients. And there's a lot of collagen in there.
Oh, yeah, that's
So that's a really easy and also a really cheap way to get enough collagen in your food. And it's the best base for any soup. It's just really rich in flavor, and so that's an easy way to get it in, because it's not really nice to just grab a tendon from a cow and you start chewing it. No, and this way you extract everything in your soup, and then you have a really nice soup.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's a great story. I started doing my grandmother's soup after today.
Yeah, and
with salt, right? Because it should be added some salt, because only this greasy, fatty soup is not healthy. It's healthy, but it's not so nice for taste.
No, and one thing that's really healthy and nice for taste is the salt.
Which is not prohibited actually, because you told me that what we use is the taste of the salt.
Yeah, that's fair.
We distracted only the taste of the salt. We call it natrium chloride.
Yeah,
and it's something completely else in chemical substance than the salt that you
natural
talk about.
salts. Yeah. So most known form of brand is Yozo, and that's just table salt or kitchen salt or industrial salt, and that's only those two minerals like natrium and chloride. So you have the salt taste, but there's nothing else in there to help you with the hydration and everything. And when you have a natural salt like Celtic sea salt or Himalaya salt from Pakistan or bamboo salt, then you have like 60 or 70 minerals in there that help you with the liquid balance in your body, and then it's good to get enough. It's even worse to get less than to get too much.
Because I always tell people to drink a lot of water, and I treat people, and then I feel in the fascia that's really dry, but basically they lack salt, because the water they drink, because they report, okay, I drink at least 2 liters of water a day, which is a little high in my opinion, but because you desalt your body by drinking too much. But if you don't add salt to the water, then it doesn't stick to your body. You just pee it out again.
Yeah, and it's really easy to see, because if the water you drink is sweet, or at least not salt, all the water that leaves your body, like the sweat and the tears and the urine, everything is salt. So if you only put sweet water in and salt water goes out, it means you're flushing all your own salts, and then you just dehydrate even more. So nowadays you see a lot of people with like almost a jerry can of tea, and they fill it up 3 times a day, and they're still thirsty and dehydrated. Because for hydration you not only need water, preferably a good source of water, but you also need salt and a little bit of glucose. And without one of these 3 things, you don't hold your water right.
No, and you don't drink tap water, right?
I personally don't, no, and that's just because they say we have the best quality from all over the world, but
which is partly true.
It could be true, but the best quality tap water is still not good water, because it's not just bacteria and viruses, but there's
because it doesn't look like the basic substance of fascia.
No,
because it's water. It's H2O. It's the stuff. It's close to H2O. But we tap in Holland. We are happy that we are lucky that we can tap water from it, and we can drink it. But it's not so healthy. You told me.
No, there's like medicine residues in there, contraceptives, drugs.
A lot of stuff that you cannot measure is still there.
Yeah.
And how can you filter your water at home?
Well, I myself, I have an Aqualine water filter, and it looks like the kind of tower you see in offices.
Okay.
And I just pour the water, tap water in the top, and then it just goes through, I think it's 11 steps, the filter.
11 layers of filter.
Yeah, so there's like sand and carbon and rocks, and it looks like how it's happening in nature with all the soil layers. And it takes 1 hour for a liter of water to go through all the filters, and then you can tap it. And it remineralizes because there are some rocks on the bottom, some moonstone and other stuff. And that filters like 99.99999% of all the stuff you don't want in your water.
And you change the filter after roughly a year.
Yeah, after a year, yeah. And because it takes like 1 hour for a liter, then you also understand why your tap water can't be that clean. Because we use tap water for the shower, for the toilet, for everything. They can do one liter an hour at the water plants because then we wouldn't have enough by far.
I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's good. So we had the salt. What else did we? I want to talk about. My girlfriend was diagnosed with a high cholesterol level in her blood. Which was concerned. The doctor was really concerned about that. And your explanation was really opening my eyes again.
Different.
Yeah. So maybe you want to share your opinion about that, because I believed it instantly. Because it makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what I always try to learn stuff that makes sense and not it has to be understandable. But cholesterol is like 20% of our brain is made up of it. Like the myelin sheets around your nerves, they're made of cholesterol. Cholesterol protects your veins, your arteries, so it's really important for your body, cholesterol. And I have a baby now, she's 6 months old today, and the breast milk she gets from her mother, my wife, it's made up of a lot of fat and cholesterol. So it's really important for us to get enough of it. And cholesterol is only a problem when you have some kind of insulin resistance. Because then the cholesterol that's trying to repair your arteries,
that's what it's made for one thing. It's made to repair cholesterol.
And then it gets sticky, and that's because of the insulin resistance. And because we eat a lot of carbs and a lot of sugars, almost 85% of all people nowadays have some kind of level of insulin resistance, and that makes the cholesterol sticky. And if the cholesterol is not sticky, it's one of the most important cells or things you have in your body.
So basically, that's interesting to look at it from this point of view, and I instantly believe that. So it's really important to skip the sugar. Don't drink power boost drinks, and they really make you insulin intolerant. And then you get that it sticks to your veins, and then you get cluttered, and then you get heart artery diseases and stuff like that.
And blood pressure
fluctuations, and then you need what did you need for blood pressure also? Honey, right?
No, for blood pressure, magnesium is important.
And magnesium and garlic.
Yeah, you can use garlic to try to
regulate your blood pressure valuations.
But magnesium is also really important for blood pressure, because the elasticity of your arteries, it needs magnesium. And if it's not elastic anymore, it's just too tight, and then your blood pressure rises also.
It's difficult to get magnesium in your system, because you can apply it on your skin, which is a great way, because it evaporates in the skin on the local myofascia where you worked on in the sessions. But I also give a substance like this. It's in ionized water or negative water, and it's the smallest substance of magnesium that you drink in water, so the stomach doesn't register it as a substance, and it doesn't want to cut it into little parts. So it goes directly into your fascia, and then and the arteries. So it really immediately increases the elasticity and resilience of your fascia. So that's also a good point to add to this story of
Yeah, and magnesium is important for like 200 other processes in your body, so it's really important to have enough, and it's difficult to get enough from your food, but there are also some factors that make you use more, and that's the consumption of sugar, caffeine, alcohol, stress.
Okay.
What like almost everybody has and does. Yeah. So we use a lot of magnesium, and we don't get a lot from our foods.
Restore it, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do another talk because it's getting a long talk.
Yeah.
And the most important for myofascial energetic release we already talked about. I see the light is not flashing. I hope the sound is still good. But thank you for being here, Koen. It's a really interesting subject. We do it again. If you want to consult him, it's on my website from now on. And and I learned a great deal about this talk too. Thank you.
All right, it was my pleasure. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
So see www.greatconnections.nl for the page which is called Nutrition in Myofascial Energetic Release. Thank you for watching.